Right.
Hi everybody, welcome to our Matchday -1 press conference ahead of tomorrow's fixture against Eintracht Frankfurt. Please use the microphone provided, 1 or 2 questions each to get through as many as we can in the time we have. Translation is available via the headsets, channel 1 for English, channel 2 for German. Michael.
Hi Ange.
Hey man.
Looking at training, looks like the vast majority are available tomorrow. How excited are you and the players ahead of such a huge quarter-final?
Everyone's good from sort of the weekend from a physical standpoint. It's a good place to be for us. Hasn't been many occasions when that's happened this year. So from that point of view, it's good. And yeah, we're all excited by it. It's a quarter-final European competition. You're one of 8. Home game as well, which adds to that excitement. So looking forward to it.
Watched another team in North London last night, another quarter-final. They were singing at the end, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" Is that the kind of mentality, whipping boys element you sort of want to lose here, or am I looking too much into it?
Oh, mate, I don't know. Probably looking too much into it, Michael. We're kind of trying to concentrate on what's important to us right now, and that is a big game tomorrow night.
Done.
And sorry to look backwards, but we've got Brennan coming in after you. He seemed quite frustrated after the game on Sunday about not taking the penalty at the end. Kind of said he didn't want to distract Matthias, but he'd love to have taken it. Did you have a view on that situation? Is there a kind of pecking order, and were you happy with the way it worked out? Yeah,
clear view. We scored, we won. Delighted. So it's incredible. It's the one bit that, literally turning gold into crap when it's Tottenham. Seriously. We're 2-1 up. If we're 2-1 up tomorrow night and we get a penalty in the last minute, I want the best penalty taker to take it. I mean, the one slight against this club is apparently that, it hasn't been a winner. Well, the winner's mentality in the last minute of a game is to score a goal. We scored a goal, and yet somehow in this alternate universe of where everything that Tottenham does is wrong, that's come out as a negative. Be it as it may, like I said, from my point of view, I was delighted because, like I said, if that's tomorrow night and we get a penalty in the last minute and we get a third goal, which could be really, really decisive, really pleased with the way the players handled it.
Has Brennan given you...
It doesn't matter.
So I was going to move on to something different. I was going to say, obviously, Wilson scored twice in the last leg. Has Brennan's performance on Sunday, given you a really tough decision in that position?
No, not from the point of view. I mean, I think it's again, with Brennan, I think part of the strategy leading into this was we had quite a few players who were coming back from long-term injuries, including Wilson and Destiny and Mickey van der Ven and Romero, and mate, I can keep going on. And we had to use games where we needed those guys to play, because otherwise, if I just kept playing Brennan, we'd be at a point now where someone like Wilson or even Destiny or these guys would have had no game time, and we may need them. So it wasn't about just leaving Brennan out because he wasn't performing. Part of the strategy was we needed to give Wilson some game time. So pleased that both of them have got game time. We've got most of our guys now. I mean, we're able to sort of give Mickey and Destiny a rest on the weekend. So most of our guys are in a position where they're not fatigued because they haven't been overplayed, but also they've played enough. I think that's been really important for us. So we're in a good position from that point of view.
And some of your very best nights have come in Europe at White Hart Lane when there's been an incredible atmosphere and positivity. Just how important will that kind of feeling within the stadium be tomorrow night with such a big game? Yeah,
hugely important. I think with every European game, I think, whether you're watching last night or you'll watch tonight and, whoever's playing at home, the atmosphere makes a big impact. Absolutely it does. I think it's a big part of European football. I think a lot of teams that have success in European football is on the back of really strong home atmospheres. And we hope it's the same tomorrow night for us. We think if we can get the crowd going tomorrow night. And we've had nights like that this year. European nights have been good. The semi-final of the Carabao Cup, the first league against Liverpool, was really good. So we need that tomorrow night because it's. I think in European football, it's a big part of sort of helping what are always tight ties, for clubs to get an advantage.
And this competition generally offers you such a brilliant opportunity, doesn't it? I mean, it must be one against this huge opponent like this that you want to savour, the players want to savour.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure how many times a club's been in quarterfinals of a European competition. So I think every time you get in there, you don't take it for granted, and you want to make the most of it for sure. And it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Frankfurt, a good side, going well in the Bundesliga. They've got a mixture of some real exciting young players, but also some experience in there, and it'll be a good challenge for us. But I think when you get to the last stage of a European competition, I think that's what you expect to face, and looking forward to it. George.
And you mentioned how long it's been since Tottenham won something. There's so much at stake with this competition, Champions League. Now you're in the last stages. How do you go about changing the mentality of the club that winning something becomes normal, particularly this season?
Well, we're still a little bit away from that. It's only the quarterfinal stage, but you've got yourself to a position where, you have an opportunity to progress, to the final stages. So it's just one step at a time. And the most important thing is that tomorrow night, like I said, we focus on having a strong performance at home. Make sure that we play the football that we want to play, and we've tried to play. I think we're slowly getting ourselves back into that sort of ability to maintain the levels we need to on a more consistent basis with the players we've got available. So that's got to be the focus.
How do you think the team's done since you've had more players back? Have you been happy with what you've seen over the last 6-7 weeks?
Oh, I can assure you it hasn't been 6-7 weeks. But anyway, I think we've been okay. But again, it's been disruptive because, like I said, we've had to juggle getting players game time with, also resting some players at different times so that we can get to this position where, we've got a fairly, fit and strong squad to tackle what's ahead. I thought first half on the weekend was really good. I thought there was some real good signs both with and without the ball that, the lads are getting stronger in the areas we need them to.
Thank you.
Tom.
And you were asking Dan earlier, talking about how people turn the golden crap at the moment. There's a sort of sense of frustration at the moment in the last few weeks, what you were saying the other day about being on the lone voice, speaking up for Spurs. How much is there anger in the dressing room, wanting to prove to people this season with this particular game that, the team still is strong, still is fighting and a quality side?
I think that feeling exists, but not because of that. I don't think they want to sort of prove. I mean, like that, and I don't think that's kind of a healthy motivation to have, because ultimately you can't win that contest. I just think we're in that position now where, as I said, even the good stuff we may do is going to be turned into some sort of, half glass full kind of rhetoric. So from that perspective, I don't think we can. Am I interrupting somebody at the back there? From our perspective, I don't think that can be a driver in what we want to do. The lads are really keen to, as I said, get ourselves to be in a position where we can bring success to the club, keep sort of driving the principles of, why we started this whole sort of journey in terms of the kind of football we want to play, really stick together as they have through the toughest of periods. And now hopefully, we've worked our way into a position where we can make an impact for our season, in a real disappointing season for us. I just think there's a real determination to take the opportunity that they've earned up until this point, rather than, like I said, I just don't think you can win that argument of convincing people. I think I think John wrote, even if we win it, I'm gone anyway. So, that's I'm not saying I'm going to go you. That's just, I think, the general sentiment of people. So if you're trying to use that as a motivation, you're not going to win that anyway. So there's got to be something more in it for us. And for us, what the most important thing as a group is that, like I said, we've been through a really tough time, but we're still in a position where we can make an impact. And you don't know how often you'll get in those opportunities. Like I said, we're in a quarterfinal. I don't know how many times the club's been in a quarterfinal of a European competition. Well, you don't want to let that sort of slip you by, or have the wrong sort of mindset going into it. So, I think the players are handling it well in terms of how they're trying to embrace this challenge of, you're going to face a top team, but, we have the capabilities to overcome that.
Just at the weekend when Wilson Odobert came off the bench, you were saying he wasn't quite ready or quick enough for being ready for that moment. How important it is for every player to be switched straight away from this?
Yeah, hugely so. And the point I was trying to make with Wilson was he was a key contributor to us winning the penalty at the end. So he makes a big impact. So it's about all the players, not just them, not just Wilson. It was just an example I used, but you kind of know that in European competition it's over two legs, and more than likely the dying stages of both legs are going to be hugely important in the way you sort of handle that, and usually that's going to be handled by guys who are coming on. No one starts and finishes a game with the same 11 players, so it's about having a readiness for that, and I said at the moment, we've got some really good options off the bench, and I want the guys to be ready to not just come on and sort of play their minutes, but come on and really make an impact. Because, like I said, he's the one that won the ball for us for Brennan's penalty, and that's the kind of impact we need from the whole group now, because it's going to take the challenge of the whole group to overcome.
If you could pass it down to Ali, please. Thank you.
You're always very proud of the coaches you work with going on to become managers. What do you make of Chris Davies and winning promotions?
Yeah, delighted for him. Really enjoyed working with Chris. I mean, he was only with me for a short time last year, but really enjoyed working with him. He was a big part of sort of what we built last year. From we had to sort of it was ground zero in terms of building a whole sort of football program in a different direction. And he was a big part of that, and delighted for him. It's always your first job is pretty important when you're kind of trying to embark on a career as a senior manager, and he's done brilliantly well, which is not surprising. And I'm sure there's more to come from him.
I mean, you're used to chopping and changing staff and going in with a whole new staff. How did you mitigate kind of losing, I guess, the consistency he would have brought you as assistant manager in your second season?
Well, I think there were still other people within the Wellesley and Meso and Billet who were with us, Birchie. So it wasn't that disruptive. And like I said, we were still very much. It wasn't like, I think it'd be more difficult if Chris was with me for 10 years and then he moves on. But I mean, the reason I kind of haven't had sort of a group of people is that that's an easy one for us to sort of travail, because, like I said, there's a consistency in message with all the sort of staff I have, and like I said, he was great with us last year, and I was more than pleased for him to sort of take his opportunity, and he's done well with it.
Last one, please, George.
It's obviously a tough season, a tough time for the club and for yourself, and you mentioned the speculation around your job. How much has this competition kind of kept you going as a chance to, no matter what happens, leave your mark on this club?
Yeah, look, like I said, the only reason I mentioned John's article is not because I think that's a general sentiment that, I've said before, that's not what drives me. I came to this club with a clear sort of purpose and vision of what the club needed and what I could offer, and that is change the way the game, the team plays, to obviously rejuvenate the squad, because it was a squad that was coming to the end of a cycle, and bring success. And as long as I'm in this position, that's always my focus. And irrespective of whatever noise there is or whatever there may or may not be in the future, I don't see that should diminish my sort of burning ambition and desire and my determination to make that happen. I mean, that's anything you achieve in life, usually comes with a struggle. Certainly everything I've achieved in my life has come with a struggle. from a professional perspective. So this is just another struggle, but never through this struggle have I thought, I've lost the will to fight for what I think is the right thing to do, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.